Hey everyone, we are gonna get really glam today. We're gonna glow up and I'm gonna show you how. So let's jump on into the tutorial. Okay, so I already filled in my brows because I feel like that's like kind of boring and everyone does their brows a little differently, but all I did was fill them in and just carve them out. Okay, so before I start, I'm gonna go ahead and tone. I've already done my pre-glam checklist. So I shaved my face with a face razor and then I plucked these bad boys. They were growing out like crazy. I exfoliated my skin, I did a little mask, and now I'm going to show you what else I do. So I take a toner, I will let that chill for a little bit and kind of soak into my skin, and then I will take some moisturizer. This is the Youth to the People moisturizer. I do like this one. I feel like it's nice and lightweight, and my skin is super sensitive, and I feel like it hasn't made me break out or anything. Okay, so while all of that soaks in, I do my eyes. I feel like any routine, I always do my eyes first because it avoids any fallout, like ruining the base makeup. So if I do get fallout, I can just wipe it away and it's not like I ruined my concealer or anything. Okay, so I just prepped my lids with some concealer. I lost my eye primer, so concealer works just as well. And then I'm gonna go in with the Patrick Ta palette. This is my all-time favorite palette because it gives you a variety of warm and cool tone colors. So it just has it all. Plus it gives you these like gel liners, I think they are. I don't even know, but I don't know. I just think the palette has it all. So I'm gonna go in with this shade right here. Put that all over the lid. And then I'm taking this shade right here, putting that in the crease and bringing it out. This really sets off the whole eye look. You don't want to go in immediately with a dark shade because then you're not transitioning into it. You got to transition into it. I'm also the type of person that goes back and forth from eye to eye. I think it speeds up the process. Okay, so now that I feel like my lids are pretty well transitioned with that shade, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next one, which is this guy right here. Tap off that excess, and then we're gonna put that in the socket right here and just go do little circles, little hula hoop action, and then start bringing it out. So I go in and out. I want to go to in and out, but I can't. So yeah, in and out, and then I bring it into the inner part of the eye and then back out again. Taking a more dense brush, I'm gonna go in with this darker shade right here. And then there should be a little gap, so place that shadow in that little gap and kind of just focus that color right there. Going back in with that first brush, you're gonna take that second shade again and blend everything together. Now I'm gonna take this black shade and tap it where you just tap that other shade. Do like little circles. You're gonna want to take that same blending brush and really just diffuse that color so there's like a nice smoky look. And then take that shade again and mix it with this shade and then just blend everything together again. Now we are going to cut the crease just a little bit so then that lid shade pops a little bit more. So a flat shader brush will do the trick and then just cut it. And then I like to bring that concealer and put it in the inner corner so then your eyes really pop. And then take a fluffy flat brush and take that very first shade and pop that color onto the lid. And then you are going to take that dense brush again and just put it in the middle of the eye so then there's no harsh lines. So now I am taking this Maybelline liner. It's a pen liner, so I'm not doing liquid liner today. I'm doing this and then I'm just drawing a line and then we're gonna smudge it out. And I'm only doing the outer corner of my eye. I don't want to bring it in too much because I want my eyes to look lifted. And then you're pretty much done with the eyes for now. I'm gonna zoom you guys out and show you what else I do in order to achieve this makeup look. For that glass-like skin look, I'm using this glass primer from Rodeo. And then I go in with the foundation, the Luminous Silk foundation from Giorgio Armani. Using a beauty blender, I'm taking that foundation and just applying it everywhere. Now we're gonna move on to concealer, which is like my all-time favorite step in makeup. I'm just taking the e.l.f. Camo Concealer and applying it in like a triangular shape, not completely close to the waterline. That way when I blend it out, it doesn't go in my waterline. And then of course, cut that line to make the shadow look more perfect. I'm gonna let it sit for about like a minute. And while it sits, I'm gonna use the e.l.f. Power Grip Setting Spray to avoid that cakiness per usual. And then blend it out. As you can see, putting the concealer right by the lash line and up makes everything look more perfect. We will blend it out a little more later because I feel like it is really harsh right now, but this is how it's supposed to look in my book. So I do 2 layers of concealer. I use like 2 different kinds all the time. I just find that this like makes my makeup look a little more flawless. But if you don't want to do this, then you can completely skip this step. But if you want more coverage, I recommend doing 2 layers. Typically do a lighter shade after that first one, and it makes my makeup look really good, so you can try it if you want. So it's time to contour now. I am using my favorite contour stick from Fenty Beauty and my favorite brush from, it's literally scratched off, but it's a contour bronzing brush and it's like angled. So any angled brush really works well with this step, but I just tap my brush onto the product and tap my face and I blend that product upwards to like create that shadow that I have like crazy cheekbones. Now we're gonna do a little nose job, I like to call it. Do 2 lines on the side and then I blend it down. And then I do a line up here and a line down there, blend that out. So for blush today, I'm gonna do this bubblegum pink shade that will mix with my concealer and make it lighter. And it's from e.l.f. It's the Putty Blush, bright pink one. Always tap your cream blush in. You don't want to drag it. Also, I think it makes the product appear more pigmented. So taking a pressed powder always first when you want your makeup to last and you want that good coverage, you want to double set. So take a pressed powder first and put it in the areas that you find yourself creasing most often, and then really press everything in. I'm gonna put some on the lids as well, and then take your loose powder and putting that everywhere, and then you're gonna let that set for 2 minutes. While you do that, take a big fluffy brush. This is optional if you want to lower that harshness on your lid. Just take a big old brush. This is a highlighter brush, but I find that it works really well for diffusing any eye look. While your powder is still setting, go ahead and take that same black liner that we used and run it in your waterline. And I'm only doing this part and up. I don't want to do too much because I like a more calm smoky eye. I low-key look like Kiss. Brush off this pressed powder now. And then I'm taking this Kimchi Blush Duo. The other side broke, unfortunately. It was a really good side. There's a little bit left, but yeah, I'm just gonna take those 2 colors and mix them and then apply it to the cheeks. Taking a little bit of bronzer also. Make it seem like the sun really liked us. And then sometimes I bring it down here too when there's like not much product left on my brush, so then there isn't that like really harsh line. And then I'm gonna take a couple of the shadows that we used in the beginning and do a lower lash line smudging. And then for my highlighter today, I'm actually using a eyeshadow color. And of course, some at the very tip of the nose. So if you want to be a little bit extra, you can go ahead and extend the inner corner line slightly. For me, I have very close eyes, so doing this is a little bit risky, but I just do a little line like that, and I feel like that's enough for me. And then I like to clean it up a little bit. And then take your mascara of choice. I like putting a little bit on, letting it dry, and then putting on more later. So right now I'm doing the first couple coats, letting it dry, and then putting on more later. But yeah, now we're gonna do the lips. Wiping off anything that I have on it already, and then putting a brown lip liner. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of concealer and put that in the middle. And then I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Plumping Gloss. So now you are pretty much done with the makeup. I'm gonna do my hair and we'll be right back. All right guys, this is the final cool tone smoky eye makeup look. Very cool tone. I feel like I'm a cool tone girly. I think my next makeup video will be more warm tone. But if you enjoyed, please comment down below and subscribe to my channel to see more makeup videos or vlogs or fashion stuff. I don't know yet. But yeah, this is the final look. And yeah, let me know if you guys enjoyed. See you in the next one.